What's up, Internet? Welcome back to some more Nerd Alert. I'm Brandon with the wonderful Jimmy in his new Metropolis Meteors shirt. Oh, you know what? They didn't see the hitter. I did not realize. Oh, okay. Now there's more. I got
I
you.
wonder why I would wear a shirt like this.
I mean, now that Metropolis is Cleveland, which only is going to fuel more because as we wrap up the summer, that was one of the highlights of the summer, and that movie was outstanding.
I'm still floored at the people who are like, yeah, it's just woke. And I'm like, did you watch the movie? I don't care about any of that. It put a smile on my face. It was fun.
I mean, it's like Dean Cain, and people who like Dean Cain believe that. So,
well, his video, I don't know if he was trying out, auditioning, whatever, for Ice. That also put a smile on my face because he was so pathetic.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Oh, my God. Like, dude, I'm about the same age. I can do a barrel roll. I can do all of that stuff, and you can't. Give me a break.
I mean, regardless of what he thought, I thought that movie was outstanding. Even with the Cleveland centric background and the fight is it Progressive Field?
Yes, it'll always be Jacobs Field. I get it, but
yes. It's funny to think about all of the companies that now have fields named after them, and then you look at the oldest ballpark, one of the oldest, like Wrigley, which was named after the gum company who owned it, but now has become just the name. But back to Superman.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny you bring that up because my dad and I only bring this up because I want to give you some Yankee love. I was in Ohio this summer. My dad and I, we just, whenever there's a game on, we watch, and Guardians playing the Yankees. And I had mentioned, because for my bachelor party, my dad and I went and saw the Red Sox play, and we saw the Yankees play, both iconic stadiums. And my dad is trying to convince me that we saw them play at the stadium they were playing at, which is their new one. Not new anymore, but it's new.
The new Yankee Stadium.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, Dad, I got married in 2003. So I was doing all that early 2003, maybe even late 2002. We were at the house that Ruth built.
Yes.
There's no chance. And he's like, no, we weren't. I'm like, okay. I will go to Brandon. Brandon, does the new Yankee Stadium, which I know you've been at, have old school urinals that is the long trough that every man pees in at once?
If they did, I would never use the restroom there. So the answer is no.
See, so we were at the old one, and my dad's like, no. And I'm like, if those are the amenities that are at the new stadium, then the Steinbrenners are morons for building a new stadium.
They were like, we're going to build a state-of-the-art stadium, but we're going to have trough bathrooms because that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. And I know we're going off the rails, but it really got me like, wow. Watch it, and we're a generational show, so I feel like I can bring this up. Watching my dad lose his memory was like, are you kidding me? Cripes. This is my future. Can't wait.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I will tell you, not to stay on the topic of baseball, but that's my biggest shame is that I never got to visit the original Yankee Stadium. So
it's awesome memories. It's awesome because literally at the place where legends played, but the stadium itself sucked.
I heard it. I heard by the time it was ending, it was pretty.
Oh, it literally reminded me of Municipal Stadium, which was the predecessor to Progressive Field, Jacobs Field. And that was a POS. So yeah. And Fenway was similarly crappy. It was awesome to be in this majestic place. And I'm not saying this from a rivalry or to, get under your skin. It was just awesome to be at this place that has such history. But at the same time, you're like, dude, these seats suck. Oh my God. Is there any other food here but just a hot dog? Because you guys weren't built to make other things. Like, yikes.
That's hilarious.
Yes. And I will say Wrigley also old ass.
Yeah, very. But I mean, did a lot with that era. But anyways, baseball away. With the summer, I will say Superman, Fantastic Four, two great highlights.
Yes.
Was there one you liked more than the other? Was there?
You know what's funny? I have been asked that a lot, and it occurred to me. It's like, who cares? Like
that's very no. I love them both,
exactly
completely different
different
reasons.
like I go to physical therapy. I just say I go work out, but it's physical therapy, let's be honest. And one of the young ladies there shocked me, and she loves film, which, as you and I know, it's very hard to find people that truly love and go see movies all the time. They might like, oh, I like to watch movies. It's like, cool. And it's just, you enjoy movies. There's nothing wrong with that. But to find somebody who is actually a nerd about it, and she is closer to age than James. So it was an interesting conversation about Fantastic Four. And I had said, well, it's my favorite one so far. She's like, that's your favorite Marvel movie? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's my favorite Fantastic Four movie. And it occurred to me, like, that is her really only Fantastic Four movie because she was so young when the other ones came out. I mean, like, she was not born or not old enough or maybe right at the right time when Iron Man came out to establish the MCU.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to have this conversation and say, well, yeah, no, it's not my favorite Marvel movie, but as far as Fantastic Four movies go, this is far and away the best one I've ever seen, including Roger Corman, meaning I think you and I are one of the few people on the planet that have seen every single Fantastic Four movie made
in theaters.
And can make that comparison. So I really appreciated Fantastic Four for what it did, and the fact that there was so much pressure on that movie to even just be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their flagship, and I know it's kind of like when Iron Man first came out, it was like, nobody cares who's Iron Man, whatever. And it's like, you guys don't understand the importance that Iron Man has to Marvel, a la Fantastic Four has to Marvel. These are huge icons for this franchise, 100%. And if it had failed, a la Eternals or Inhumans, what would the next phase of Marvel be?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's funny because I rewatched the old movies. It's funny too because watched the first two, and my wife watched them as well because she remembered enjoying them when they were out. She's not a comic book fan or anything, but she watched those and she's like, yeah, kind of lame. I put on the Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan one, and she just cursory watched it while like doing stuff. It got to a point that she like stopped and stared at it for a minute and was like, I don't believe that this is an actual movie that got made. And I'm like, right? It's
like the movie Hall Pass. I did not realize that the Michael Chiklis versions with the thing were good until I was like, oh my God, like this is the Fantastic Four movie we're making with Miles Teller?
I guess
those were good.
It's insane how good that cast is and just how off the walls that script was, man. Like everything about it was
made Roger Corman's look good.
Put together, I'd say. Yes. Women are put together, but I mean, even the end of it. But that thing was wild. So to watch those, and then to get what we got from them, I loved it so much, and I don't disagree. Like, it's weird when you watch Marvel movies because I feel like it's hard to put them in a standalone category because it connects to so much other shit.
Build on shit. Yeah.
Just as a movie by itself, I could see how it has its flaws, but in the bigger picture of everything, I think they did a great job of introducing everybody, of showing what everyone can do. If this was by itself, I'd be a lot more critical of like how much we saw, but I think they gave us what we needed to carry on to the next thing. And I telling you, I loved that movie. I mean, the tribute, the whole movie felt like a love letter to Jack Kirby. And then at the end with the love letter to Jack Kirby, I was just like, you guys don't know how long I have fought to have that man given the recognition that he deserves next to Stan Lee and like the Disney parks and even these movies and things like that. And, just because he's not alive, wasn't alive to make cameos like Stan was, there's no reason there shouldn't have been more of him featured and stuff. And it was cool that given how important the Fantastic Four were to both of them, that they were honored. I don't know if you caught the Timely Comics little, yes. I literally like, I was in the theater and went, oh my God, like, oh my God, do you know what that is? Do you see what that is? And all the Kirby artwork in there. So I just thought that was
Well, even the
Amazing.
thing, I didn't get it right away until they showed his birthday, that the universe that this
I thought that was
Fantastic
cool
Four
too,
is in
man.
is Kirby's birthday, and I was like, "Oh, dude, that is so
So cool.
awesome." And
So cool.
James and I talked about this. There are comic book adaptations in movies that like knock it out of the park. Superman was one where it's like, you know what? James Gunn really got this. But this is the one I really feel like we are in 2025, but they really captured the feel that Jack Kirby drew back in the 60s when Fast and Four. And it was like, oh my God, you didn't make it like, all right, it's a period piece where everything's in the 60s. It's like, no, you didn't do that. You had technology that was modern day.
Yeah, but exactly. It felt like what he would give them.
Just so beautiful. And never in a million years could you have made me care about Mole Man.
That was so good, man.
Nailed it.
I wanted more of him. I feel kind of bummed that maybe that'd be the last we see him. And it sounded like he had a fun time playing him as well.
What's his name? Paul
Walter Hauser.
He just does some off the wall shit like Cobra Kai. It's like, really, dude? Okay. So I could see him just being asked to be in Doomsday to flick somebody off and to be like, bro,
yeah,
I'm there.
And he's a professional wrestler. It's so good.
That too.
But I thought I really I enjoyed so much of it. And even the relationship, there was actually this scene where they talk about the suits going back up and he goes, this time nothing's going to get through. And Ben is like, you got to stop beating yourself up about this.
Yep.
You know, there's a dynamic in the comics that's always been that Ben will get angry at Reed from time to time, but it almost makes me feel like it almost made Reed look like he felt guiltier because Ben wasn't like holding him to this guilt that he puts his arm on his shoulder and he's like, hey, you got to stop beating yourself up. And there's just like this pain of him like, I ruined your life, man. Like, I can't let go of that. I have to. I thought that was so, like I said, it almost feels like it weighs more on him, the fact that Ben isn't on him about it. And I love that.
It's a reminder because the other three can fake it. They can hide. Yeah. Ben can't. He is going to look like that.
And then even
a reminder to read.
Yeah, I thought that was so good. And for that to be Kirby's favorite character, and then God, not even getting into Galactus. That was perfect.
You know my feelings on a lot of Kirby's work in regards to the space and the new gods and stuff like that. It's like whatever. Galactus to me is so stupid. So stupid. This movie, I was like, oh my God, they actually got Galactus. And I like go back and see the last time they tried to do Galactus. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. Like I thought this was going to kind of be silly with like, no, they pulled it off. And I'm like, I love this.
And even like if you look at all of the tech on that ship, it all has the little intricate Kirby designs and stuff. Like it was incredible.
People complain, oh, they meant that the female Silver Surfer is like, shut the fuck up. That was
once again
perfect.
She did amazing. Yep. She was so good. And I understand. Like to me, because it's not the regular universe, I think they're doing that so you can still have Nor and Rad and you know the way people are used to it. But yeah, zero complaints out of that.
The relationship that they were able to develop between Johnny and her was beautiful simply because she was female and it was freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Loved it. I also liked how they made them all scientists. Yeah. So like Johnny can still be like the little kind of little shit kind of guy, but I liked how it showed that he's not just there to like be pretty and fight bad guys. Like he breaks down all this shit. He figures out the language. It was so good.
I enjoyed that as well. And it was cool to see each of their strengths. And I'm not talking about their powers, but their actual, I guess, mental strengths really made it a team. Because I think a lot of times Reed is just Reed and he's going to solve all the problems. It's like, no, man, his kryptonite is, I guess, his fear of failure is a huge kryptonite for him because he can't figure out the solution. So it's almost paralyzing to him as he tries to work harder to find the solution.
You want to talk about wholesome Superman, man. That movie just, I left that theater feeling so good, not only about just the way the movie made me feel, but the future of everything he's got planned. Like, that's another one. I just 2 back-to-back home runs this summer.
We literally left. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw it by myself because the family was already in Ohio. Jerks. I left the theater with a smile. I haven't left the theater and with a smile, like a genuine smile, not like, "Ooh, I really like that movie."
No, I left feeling so good about just everything. Like, it just made you feel hopeful. It was like, things can be shitty, but like as long as you continue to be a good person, like it just felt so good to see that. And man, I thought at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, the relationship, the on-screen chemistry of Lois and Clark, nothing's gonna beat that until he goes back home to his parents. And I was like, this is my favorite Ma and Pa Kent of all time. They are so wholesome, so pure. Like, I just, oh my God, that scene where he's on the bench with his dad and he's just like, you're that person because you're that person, not because someone told you to be. Like, you chose to be a good person. And man, oh, I'm telling you, I want, and even before that, just like when they FaceTime him and she's like, "Are you there, Clark?" Like screaming it, like they were perfect.
It's so funny because James and I talked a little bit about this. Sorry, my son James, because James Gunn had gone to great lengths to try.
Me and James talked about this. James Gunn.
I want you to think that I was talking to James Gunn and didn't tell you.
Yeah, got him on speed dial. You were the Cleveland liaison.
Exactly. That they didn't ever talk to or call or
but you're there.
But he literally was talking to people to try and get an accurate accent. Not only, I believe he's from Missouri. Is that right, James? Like, I know he's from the Midwest.
I would guess.
But it cracked me up because I was like, I was really impressed with that. I thought that their speech, the way they portrayed the sort of simple life on the farm, which is not simple at all, but just that life was perfect. And a dude on YouTube was like, "Man, you need to go to school." I'm like, dude, I live in Las Vegas now. I grew up in farming community, Nowhere, Ohio. I know what these literally are people I saw. So yes, to me, this is accurate. Granted, I'm 40 years removed from that memory, but this is accurate. This is what I grew up with. This is small town farming community, which is, oh my God, Smallville. I wonder why they call it that. Because that's what it is.
As if it was influenced by that.
I know. And it cracks me up because literally we still get questions. "Oh, do you guys ride tractors to school?" And my favorite comment is no, as Allison's sitting here talking about, "Well, no, I didn't, but I did ride tractor for work." And I'm like, shut up, honey. They're going to think we ride tractors everywhere.
Do not encourage them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, no, YouTube commenter. I really felt like that was accurate. Of course, they could have done better, but then they wouldn't have gotten acting. They would have gotten people down on the farm who don't know how to act. The way they captured the Kents was brilliant. And I really like how that juxtaposed to what we found out the truth with his real parents, Darrell, that they convinced him, you are the one making your own decisions. You are the one choosing to be good, not to be what your parents sent you to be. You're making the decisions. And it's
exactly
brilliant.
And how he just like at the end when he realizes that, and then like they're like he likes to listen to his parent or likes to see his parents, and then they start showing all the clips of him as a kid. I was like, God damn it, this was so good, man. And like not even to focus just on all that, but everybody else in the movie. I mean, everyone from Metamorpho to Mr. Terrific to Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl. I mean, everybody kicked ass. Everybody was so good. There's so many things that
Luther.
Oh my God. Like all of them.
I never thought anybody would be better than Gene Hackman. Just never thought anybody could do it.
Nicholas Hoult, dude. Nicholas Holt's he's outstanding for a reason,
When he kidnaps Crypto and Superman comes in and is like, "Where's the dog?" And he's just got the coffee, like totally antagonizing him. You're like, he could like squish you, and you're just standing up to him, chest out, be like, "Took your dog."
I loved it. And I honestly, just the fact that he's willing to sacrifice himself for an animal, like twice. I know everybody talks shit about the squirrel scene, and I was like, no, that just they're laying the pieces to show you that how he values things, and I just thought that was so well done. And I'm telling you, two wonderful comic book movies this summer. I'm all about quality over quantity, and it seems that both studios are kind of zeroing in on that. I really think it's amazing.
Well,
Like,
you just brought up a good point that we have two movies that are literally attached to the companies. Like when you think of DC, Batman's probably first, but in a close second, it's Superman. Superman was their first superhero.
I mean, I would say interchangeable depending on the day. Like
exactly. And then Fantastic Four, same with Marvel. So Marvel obviously has more leeway to fail, but DC had zero option. This had to be a home run. It had to be. And James Gunn steps up, Babe Ruths it, and nails it. And it's like, are you kidding me, man? This is so impressive. Even the people that hate it, it's like, fine, hate it all you want.
Oh, I mean, I saw there's still like a group of Snyderverse people just out here to talk shit. And it's like, Jesus Christ, let it go. But I think one of the things I was really most that I loved most about the difference in the movies is I was worried like Marvel, although we're dealing with superheroes and stuff like that, I would say is still more in a grounded reality than what DC set up. And I think the perfect example is that is when he gets back to his apartment and the Justice Gang is out there fighting an imp. And he's just like, oh, they'll handle it. And I think that set up perfectly how different like those things just happen. You're going to get monsters showing up. You're going to get, it's not this big, like, can you believe it's like, oh, there's another one and we just kind of deal with it. And we know there's people there to help us and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So I just thought the way you set that up now is going to give you a different feel. And I think the more we have, the more it's going to be, well, if you don't like this, you have this, like it's giving you options and it's going to give us different vibes for both companies. And that's really what I was most excited about, because I didn't want a reality, like a more realistic grounded DC, because I just don't think DC can pull that off. And I think maybe that's why the Snyderverse failed and a couple other things, because they tried to make it this grittier, rougher edge. And now this one is like serious, but you can have fun.
Well, that's back and forth. Like you have the comedy of Crypto, you have the comedy of Supergirl. So many instances where you just kind of laugh. Jimmy Olsen, Christ, never enjoyed Jimmy Olsen that much. I'm like, this is awesome.
So good. He was such a good Jimmy too, man.
But then you have the moments where you're like heartbreak, like when Crypto gets kidnapped. You're like, oh my gosh. When Superman first sees the full recording of his parents, and he's like walking out, and that pop can, which would never hurt him in a million years, that just is so affecting. Like, oh my God. They've literally turned on him because of this message. And look at today's day and age. Like
in moments, he just saves the city. He just saves everybody. They're all high-fiving him. And then, oh my God, this guy, fuck him.
And they don't know if that's real or not. It just, Lex Luthor showed something and now they all believe it in an instant. It's like, God damn, that's so accurate to what happens in the real world.
Yeah.
But then it was funny when he goes into the building and you have Green Lantern come in, shading the window so nobody can see. And then he's like, getting face to face. And I'm like, I have never really been a huge fan of that version, but holy crap. Once again, thanks James Gunn for making me care about a character I didn't care about before.
He did such a good Guy Gardner, because Guy Gardner, like, I think he's gotten better as time has gone on, but Guy Gardner is so fucking obnoxious.
He's annoying.
And he just thinks everyone can kiss his ass. He's the best. He's better than everybody. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And I mean, it plays right into the, the no fear of the Green Lantern, but I know we're getting a one punch scene in the future. And I also just love that it's like a guy like Nathan Fillion who, like, if you're into comic books and these movies and that you've known who he is forever, but I think you put a brand new spotlight on him and that guy 100% deserves it.
Well,
like totally deserves it.
The Green Lantern Corps picked him.
Yeah.
I love how he kept saying that. Like, what's your credentials? No. They picked me. And I'm like, dude, calm down. You have powers, you have the ring, but he's constantly having to pull out that. They picked me.
He wants everyone to know, like, I'm important.
And then when Lois comes in to ask for help, and he's sitting there just flat out giving away Superman's identity, no clue whether she knows or not. I'm like,
she's like, oh my God, what is wrong with
freaking hilarious. I love it. And the only real thing I just did not like about this movie, and I really hope they change it, I couldn't stand when Hawk Girl was screaming. I get it. It's fine in a comic book. I don't need that audio as she's doing whatever. It's like, oh my God, stop.
Well, I don't know. I'm interested to see more on that, because I don't know if they're establishing her as a Thanagarian, or the Hawk people history can be very convoluted very quickly. So if they establish that she's like reincarnated or from a different planet or whatever they try to do, that might help explain that. But
I don't need an explanation. I just need it to be at a high pitch level that only dogs can hear, so Crypto can answer, and then I don't. I was like, please don't do that. That was. I
mean, once again, kind of a beginning of things.
Oh, it's huge nitpicking. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is how much I enjoyed the movie, that I'm looking to this as the critique.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was such a solid time. And I also love too the kind of the Loki Hulk moment with Crypto coming in when Lex is monologuing and just whoops his ass. And it's like,
and that's to me where James Gunn gets it. You cannot have Superman beating the shit out of Lex Luthor. You just can't.
No, he's gonna kill him. He'd kill him in one punch.
You can't. Plus that's violence that he will not do, as he's already established. That's a Zack Snyder thing, and I'm not commenting on that
until you give him a power suit. Lex gets a power suit.
So who do you use next? Yeah. Crypto. You cannot be mad at Crypto for doing something that we have wanted to see all movie as a public, but you can't have Superman do it. So you have Crypto, and you're like, yeah, we finally got vindication. That was so beautiful, so perfectly written.
And it's because also it's like Crypto's like, this dude kidnapped me. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's doing what he does best. I love it.
So moving off of comic books, did you see anything else this summer that that you enjoyed or wanted to talk about? Or
you brought up a term earlier that I'd never heard. Was it Summerween?
Summerween.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily know I did this, but I saw a horror movie.
Which one?
Megan 2.0.
Okay, now
did you see it?
No, because I heard it's less horror and more action.
I loved it, and you are 100% accurate. It's kind of like Chucky, Child's Play, in that Chucky just got so ridiculous and funny that it's entertaining in a different way. Not that the 80s was all that scary, the original. I thoroughly enjoyed Megan. I was shocked because I didn't expect to. I enjoyed the original just for what they established. I really enjoyed the sequel. Yes, it's less horror, but there's still violence and all that stuff. So it's still a horror movie. I really enjoyed it.
It's funny because I've heard individual people say that they enjoyed it because they thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And Blumhouse, is it Blumhouse or Blumhouse? Blumhouse?
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason Blum.
They came out and said like they tried something new and maybe won't take those same risks in the future because it didn't do well. And I think the general public was more disappointed that they stepped so far away from a horror vibe. But you have to be like the fourth or fifth person, like individually, that I've heard be like, no, it was a lot of fun. Like, the first one wasn't terrifying by any means. It was still kind of goofy in nature to begin with. Yeah. So a lot of people that I've talked to have said like, no, this was a good time. So I might have to check that out when it ends up.
If you look at the horror being AI, which clearly we're in that realm, then yeah, it's fucking scary as shit. But when you look at the elements they added, and I think this is going to be one of those films as people watch it on streaming, they're going to have a better idea and be like, oh, okay, I get it. Or watch it again and it's not as close to the anticipation of what the first one was. They get a better sense of this is still a good commentary on society and it's scary.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So speaking, did you see anything else? Because I was hoping you saw this. I don't think you did.
I saw other comic book movies, but you said to stay away. We're going somewhere else. So
no, we can go check into that. But I just, while we're on the topic of horror and even going back to Julia Gardner, Weapons.
I have not, and I've been asked that a lot.
Now you tend to hate some really cool things sometimes, so I am a little nervous for you to see this.
I only like cool things.
No, sometimes you hate really fun, awesome.
No, I do not. If Blade Runner sucks,
this movie is so good, Jimmy. Okay. I can't tell you how much fun I had. I went with Chase, and man, I just every minute of that movie I was fucking entertained. Did you like Barbarian?
I've never seen it.
Oh my God, that's another one. This guy, so his name's Zach Kreger. He's actually from Whitest Kids You Know.
Okay.
Which I watched so much when that was on and active. And I didn't know that he did Barbarian until Weapons came out. And I'm like, okay, so between him and Jordan Peele, the people making the best horror movies are all from sketch comedy. Like, I don't know how it works out like that, but Julie Gardner was great in it. Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong. I mean, everybody, man, hold on. I have it right here. The one that made a surprise with you. I forgot what you watched that you said he was. Obadiah Stane. Where are we? What's his name? He plays Obadiah. Alden.
Yeah. Solo.
Yeah. Solo. He's great. It's so much fun. It's hilarious. And when I saw the trailer, it literally looked like it was going to like keep me up at night. And when I started reading reviews, people were like, it was as funny as it was terrifying. And then sure enough, I'm in the theater and I cackled and I'm like, oh my God, like this is actually fucking hysterical, but highly suggest checking that out as like a summerween movie.
That's where I was again impressed with the young lady at physical therapy. She's the one that told me about this movie to go see it. Because to be honest, Chase has his opinions, and I'll be like, dude, good review. You still love Blade Runner 2049 and Prometheus, so whatever. So until I get an outside perspective, I'm like, So when she said that, and now you've said that, I'm like, okay, I have got to see this movie then.
You should check out Barbarian too. Barbarian's a lot of fun as well. Just so you kind of get an idea of like where his head's at with some stuff. But man, outstanding. You said you saw other comic book movies.
Well, it's sort of a stretch, but it was the beginning of summer. Thunderbolts, and then
love that too.
Captain America.
About that, but we love that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Marvel's movies this year. Yes, I agree with you. Less is more, and I think we could have had less. And I really wish we had more development in Thunderbolts. I felt like it was. We talked about this. It was okay. I felt like it could have been better. I felt like, and maybe it's just my anticipation of the bad guys being good. Like same thing with Suicide Squad. It's like I had such hopes the first one, and then you're like, what the hell is that? So I had high hopes for Thunderbolts. I'm like, I think it could have been better. But on the flip side, I did not see Captain America in theaters. Waited until it came out on streaming, and that was way better than I thought it was going to be. And I felt like people just dissed it because I don't know. There's a black Captain America. Because
I'm sure there's a number. I'm sure there's a number of reasons why people wanted to talk shit. But like, I don't know. It's also like you and I were saying. Like we've said a million times though. Like, even if it's not good, I probably won't watch it again. I don't need to campaign on why it was so terrible. Like, there's other ways you can. Like I said, I don't disagree with, I enjoyed Thunderbolts. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. But anyways, enough with the haters. We're here to talk about things we enjoy.
Well, going on that, TV shows, streaming.
Okay.
Did you see Ironheart?
I did.
What'd you think?
So I will tell you that by the end of the season, overall, it was an enjoyable watch. I really did dig Mephisto, and I think that's a cool inclusion that we're getting going forward. I will say the one thing that I was disappointed about throughout the watch was the Hood. The Hood is one of my favorite characters, and I don't think that he did a bad job with him, but I just felt like he was heavily nerfed compared to the Hood that we have in the comics, because the Hood ends up being a big player. Like when he gets introduced and Norman Osborn takes over after Civil War, or after Secret Invasion and all this other stuff, the Hood ends up on like the Illuminati of villains.
Interesting.
And I just felt that this kind of underplayed his potential. It doesn't mean he's going to stay like that. You know, it ends with kind of the introduction to the possible Strange Academy and all that. But I wished he would have been bigger and scarier. But I loved the Ironheart aspect. I loved Obadiah. I thought that was a cool story.
I did not see that.
I wish we would have had Obadiah versus her instead of the Hood, but I understand why they did it. And like I said, I don't think this is it for the. I hope it's not it for the Hood. He's a great character. He really is evil and more of a lowlife than they really made him in the show. So I am hoping that gets played out later. But overall, I thought it was a solid. It was better than I was expecting because of the delays and kind of the open shit talking that was to begin with. But by the end, I was like, that was a solid take on everything.
I really like that story they told.
Yeah.
I think, and this is the hard thing with the streaming stuff, is they don't necessarily say, oh, and here comes season 2. We just don't know. Yeah. But I think they've set up the Hood to be his story as a villain, a great character arc, because he had all the power and then he basically got screwed. So he has every right to come back and be even worse than he was.
100%.
So I could see that definitely happening. I really loved how they tied this into Iron Man 1, because I really feel like people forget how awesome Jeff Bridges was as Obadiah Stane. And it was just like, dude, in order to have a good superhero movie, you need to have an amazing villain.
You have to. That's the whole point.
MCU launched this with Iron Man, who nobody cared at the time, and Obadiah Stane, who nobody even, what? Are you kidding me? And they made a movie that was awesome. So to tie back to that and bring it back the way they did with Alden, can't say his last name, from Solo, I loved his portrayal. I loved his reveal. And I really liked the relationship between him and Ironheart. I enjoyed this. Again, wasn't my favorite.
Like they end not friends, but just like a understanding-ish, but it still leaves the door open for him to be a wonderful villain in the MCU as well. And I thought that was great.
And I love the AI aspect of, here's her best friend coming back to life. And you're like, awesome, but she's not really alive, but she's almost the best version of her best friend because she's the best memories of her best friend. And then the ending, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, the ending where you're like, oh my God, she made the deal. Oh my God, I did not see that happening. I thought the things she learned in the show were going to make it so she wouldn't. And then you're like, oh my God, she made the deal.
No, she did it anyways. She still, which I thought was a really interesting, and like that right there is enough intrigue to give me another season.
Yeah, like, I'm totally down.
She did something that does not play by any of the logic you saw her show the entire show. Like, oh man, it was so good. So good.
And going back to Reed Richards, it's almost like this thing where we're seeing a different generation of somebody who I'm not saying is just as smart. Please do not put in the comments, are you saying she's just as smart as Reed Richards? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying somebody who is haunted by their intelligence, and you're seeing her go in a different path than Reed Richards has chosen. And it's
also like for all intents and purposes, she's like a 19, 20-year-old girl who's built a power armor suit twice. So like maybe give her a little credit on the intelligence level before you just act like a dick about it.
Yeah. And she literally, maybe by accident, but a lot of great things have come by accident. She created one of the most realistic AIs that has ever been around.
Yeah. And
I get it, it's fiction. Shut up. Don't comment. But it was really fascinating. Sure. I know. I'm getting tired of some of our YouTube comments where it's like, man, this is fiction. It's like,
it's all fiction. It's all suspension of disbelief on everything. Like that's the whole point of this. That's why I'm doing this. Like, that's why I like these things.
That's why I'm not talking about real life right now.
Yeah.
Real life sucks. Exactly. Fiction's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Really. It's only getting worse.
That's another thing I want to talk to you about though, with Superman. I did not realize that I have grown up with this version of Superman that I didn't realize was sort of not the original Superman, and I don't mean that he couldn't fly in the beginning. I get it. He was leaping tall buildings, but that in the 80s or late 70s, early 80s version with Christopher Reeve, that they basically made a Messiah complex with Superman, and that his mission to Earth was to save and protect the people, a la Jesus Christ. I had no idea that that wasn't normal because being a kid, that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
So I was bothered when I first saw this Superman, and you have Bradley Cooper looking good as always, but basically finishing the message of you're here to rule over these people because you're better than them. And understanding that James Gunn has brought Superman back to his origins where he's making a choice, that his free will is the reason why he's the protector of the planet, not because his parents sent him to Earth to do that. I'm like, wow, that is so awesome. And I did not come to this on my own. I read about it online, so I'm not that smart. But it was just so cool to read this and to understand it better. Of that's why he made that decision. And I'm like, dude, James Gunn knows his comic books. I was very impressed with this.
He really does. Like the man reads, and the man knows these stories and these characters, and I think that's carried over since Guardians. You know, like he took a team that I remember working at Maximum being like, I cannot believe they're going to do a Guardians movie. This is going to be so hard to like jump on with. And it's funny too, because like that came out around the same time Man of Steel came out, and everyone online is like, we have a dark brooding Superman no one gives a shit about, and then we have a talking tree and a raccoon that made me feel good about everything. And it's yeah, I think it just shows that he knows exactly what he's talking about, whatever. The thing with the Jor-El thing, it doesn't bother me as much because I mean, don't get me wrong, like Superman Birthright's one of my favorite Superman stories, and that has a very like it's one of the more emotional times I've gotten reading a comic. It's outstanding. But it centers around like his parents being happy he found a new home and all this kind of stuff. But I'm okay with the L's being shitty people because they're dead. I don't like, there's been plenty of times that Jor-El has been a bad guy in times they brought him back or done whatever. And I know the other thing was like, well, how come Kara never told him about this? And it's like, you know, Kara might not have known that her aunt and uncle were racists, you know, like I don't think that's something they openly discussed with the rest of the family. And it's also, yeah. Well, the other thing is like, even if like she's a teenager or whatever now, or a young adult, but like the whole point is you might not have known about aunt and uncle's political and, you know, I guess I don't know if this is going to get us flagged for something, but like Zionistic views of stuff. So I'm okay with the L's being pieces of shit. That's probably the last time we're going to see them, you know, like they were throwaway.
But that's what makes it so important to the journey of Kal-El, is that he is making his own decisions. And it never occurred to me until I read this. I'm like, my God, I have grown up with a Superman that wasn't necessarily what he was meant to be in Simon and Schuster. It was, or Spiegel. It was that he was made to be Jesus Christ, and he was come to save the people of Earth. And that was sort of the 80s run of who the Superman was up until Zack Snyder's. And I'm like, I never thought of it that way. And one of the reasons why they said, and I don't know how true this is, they wanted Marlon Brando in more of the movie, but obviously he wasn't going to be in more of the movie as he has a reputation of being a difficult actor. So they were taking scenes he filmed, and that was the ghost projection he was doing in the Fortress of Solitude and giving his advice and all that. And that's kind of what led to being this Messiah complex of you're going to do you're going to protect Earth and all that, because that's what Marlon Brando recorded in the studio somewhere and they wanted him in it. I'm like, this is silly.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Figures.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a good start for the DC universe. You know, Peacemaker's on right now, which we're 2 episodes into, which has also been a fun addition. And like this whole summer has just left me feeling like hopeful for the next batch of movies we're getting, whether it's
Don't sleep on Creature Commandos. That was
that was great too.
Yeah,
so good. I had so much fun watching that, and that's another thing that although it's a cartoon, it's a different medium or whatever, like those people exist in this world, and that's cool to think about as well. So I don't know, man. I was into all of it from beginning to end. So
future's looking bright. I like it.
yeah. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. What did you enjoy? What did we miss? What were we? I'm sure you'll let us know, but what were we wrong about?
Nothing.
Nothing. We're right about everything all the time.